Stop 15 was to Virginia, the state at the heart of American history, to visit Monticello, the self-designed home of America's most influential founding father and reluctant third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was the primary writer of the Declaration of Independence. He was a major contributor to the United States Constitution, especially the concept of religious tolerance and the separation of church and state, and the founder of the University of Virginia. He was remembered as a genius, and that was very much on display at his home in Monticello. It's hardly really to succinctly describe Jefferson. As many as you know, I really love Anthony Bourdain, the author and travel show host. And if you read Bourdain's Twitter bio, it only has one word, and it just says enthusiast. And I think that's how I describe Jefferson. He was clearly an enthusiast towards everything in the world. There are accounts of him taking diary and pencil with him everywhere in order to make notes on structures or interactions or concepts or whatever that he encountered on a day-to-day basis that he found interesting. If he had a need for something, he just invented it. Unfortunately, no photography was allowed in his home, but if it was, I could have shown you the two clocks that he created himself, or the trove of animal remains and bone collections that he amassed from the Lewis and Clark expedition that he commissioned and studied, or the wine pulley that he created in his fireplace to constantly have new wine brought to the table during dinner, or the letter copier he designed so that he could keep copies of everything he wrote. That's actually on the screen now. He was clearly a genius. I mean, look right now, you're seeing the calculations he had in creating Monticello himself. Yes, he actually designed the layout and the architecture for his own home. I mean, how many politicians do you know today who created and planned the layout and architecture of their own home? Or who founded a university that, oh, by the way, was created in the overlook below Monticello by design so that Jefferson could monitor it with a telescope? This isn't to say that Jefferson didn't have negatives. The architecture and the layout of Monticello was done by Jefferson, but the construction and day-to-day operations of the farm and eventual nail factory were done by his slaves. You're currently looking at a workshed and then also now a graveyard for the slaves who died at Monticello. And it's also widely accepted that he fathered several children with one of his slaves. So, I mean, and really though, I mean, I think those contradictions of this aspect of his life with his political ideologies of all men are created equal, and a government that is a reflection of the people in the country, and so on and so forth, and his actions are those make him even more interesting, those contradictions, because they prove that he was also a human being outside of just being a complete, perfect super genius with flaws like all of us. So there is so much history in Virginia. Maybe Monticello seemed like an odd choice, but if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend visiting. It's beautiful and humbling and awe-inspiring, and it was a really, really cool place to visit. Better than I expected. The one question for this round is, why would I play CCR as long as I can see the light for this video?